I'm Jill Marsh. I teach math and science at Phillippi Shores Elementary, and today we're going to be doing a 3-act task. The 3-act task approaches a standard using 3 different steps in a process. Students will use critical thinking skills to try to solve, analyze, and problem solve a task that's real world. So today they're learning how to estimate and use multiplication and partial products to solve for Skittles in a jar. All right, so we're gonna start, the beginning of this is a rainbow of colors. So we're gonna start with Act 1. Okay, now, what do you wonder? What do you wonder about that? I want you to turn and talk to your neighbor right now. Tell your neighbor what you wonder.
I wonder how many are in each package.
Yeah, same. I was going to say that.
I wonder how many packs are in the jar.
Ah, good questions. What are you wondering?
How many packs are in the jar and how many Skittles are there?
Good questions, good questions. What are you wondering?
How many Skittles are in the jar and how much are in each pack?
Excellent. So your question is how many Skittles are in that jar? Class.
Yes.
Okay, put your eyes on me. So what were you guys wondering at green table?
We were wondering how many Skittles were in the jar.
How many Skittles were in the jar? Did any group have a different question? Celine?
I was wondering how many of each color are in the...
How many of each color? That's a great question. Sam?
How much packets they use.
How many packets they used?
How many Skittles are in each packet.
How many Skittles are in each packet?
How big the jar was.
How big the jar was. These are all great questions. What we're going to solve for today is the question I think that was on everybody's mind, and that was, how many Skittles are in that jar? There are other great questions. I heard how many colors, or what was the ratio of colors, so things like that we definitely want to answer, but this video is going to answer that one for us. We're going to be thinking, now look at Act 2, let's think about what information we need to solve for how many Skittles are in the jar. What information will we need? Sam?
How much Skittles are in each packet?
How many Skittles are in each packet?
How many packets did they use?
How many packets did they use? Do you think we need any other information? Okay, all right. So this is where we want to have our math journals ready, because we're going to go ahead and we're going to estimate the packages used. I want you to think about an estimate for the Skittles. I want you to think about an estimate that's too low. I want you to think about an estimate that's too high. And I want you to think about an estimate that's somewhere in between there that you think is just right. Okay, now I want you to go ahead and make a too high estimate and make a too low estimate. Write that down in your journals. An estimate you know is too low. When we make an estimate, do we make a crazy guess? What is an estimate?
I did 1230. It's sort of close. It is the closest that we could think of to the real number.
It's the closest we can think of to the real number. Who knows another way that we could say that?
It's like a reasonable number without having it be the exact number. It's not like 6 or 200, just reasonable.
I like her word reasonable. That means that we're thinking about a reasonable number. It's an educated estimate. Okay, so when you're putting down your numbers, I want you to be thinking about something reasonable. Does that make sense? Kate?
So are we estimating the Skittles that are in there or the packages?
She's got a good question. Are you estimating the Skittles that are in there or the packages? What are we estimating? what is our question that we need to answer? What's our question we need to answer, Sam? How many Skittles are in now? Kate, I love the way you said that though, because if you estimate the packages that are in there and you estimate the number that are in each package, aren't you going to ultimately get how many are in there? So yeah, there's different ways to do this. So I want you to come up with an estimate that's too high, an estimate that's too low, and one that's like what we would say in the Goldilocks zone, one that's just right. Do you think that every Skittles package has exactly 14 in it? Trick, what do you think?
I think no.
Okay, so when we are thinking about solving this, what procedure do we need to use? What operation are we going to be using to solve this? What do you think, Kai? He says multiplication. What's a good strategy for solving multiplication? Because it seems like we have 2-digit times 2-digit. What could we use to solve that, Selena?
Partial product.
Partial products would be an awesome choice. All right, so I'm going to give my friends just a minute because I don't want you to see Act 3 yet. And I want you to try to solve for what you think now is going to be the number of Skittles in that jar. We talked about maybe 14. That's not exactly what every Skittles package might have in it. So what would be a number we could use that maybe would be a good estimate for how many are in each package?
12.
12. Would that be easier to multiply? I'm thinking things that might be easier to multiply.
10.
10 maybe? 15 maybe? So let's kind of think about how we could multiply easier numbers to make our estimate be close. Go ahead and give it a try. Happy fear. All right, I'm going to give you a couple minutes to come up with what you think now is going to be a good answer for the number of Skittles in that jar, and then I'm going to reveal in Act 3 the actual number. Good work, friends. Oh, I see some awesome estimates. We're going to share some of our estimates here in just a minute. Now we've got some really good information that's going to help us get a good close number. Awesome. Gavin, will you share your estimate with us? What are you thinking now? What do you think is the actual number in there? Did you come up with it? Give me one that you think is going to be the number of Skittles in there. 540. What do you think, Brendan?
812.
812. What are you thinking, Adam? 812. Melanie? 860. Sam? 875. Kate?
870.
870. 870.
700.
700.
812.
We've got a lot of them in the 800s. Why do we have so many in the 800s? Why would that be? Anybody know why we have so many in the 800s? What are you thinking, Brendan?
We're multiplying different numbers, but they're all close numbers.
They're all close numbers. All right. Now, is everybody ready for the reveal?
I'm not ready. You guys solve it.
You
Ready?
can't solve it yet, Charlie.
Charlie, are you ready? Do you have your estimate, friend?
I have my estimate.
Okay. All right. Here's the big reveal. So let's take a second to count those up. Remember, they put 10 piles in each row. So how many are in each row? Okay, what was our final answer? What was the answer, Sam? 853. Did anybody get close to that? What was the closest estimate we had? 850s? Who said 860s? We had one in 8. Who said 840s? Who said 870? That was a good one, 870. All right, how did using estimation help us to find our final answer? Catherine, when you narrowed it down with knowing the packages and the number in each package, did it help you to come up with a better answer? So having that information really helped us to establish what would make sense. And we're looking for, does your answer make sense or is it nonsense? And those are the things we're looking for. We go back to what my friend Melanie said, is it reasonable? And our estimate helps us decide whether our answer is reasonable. And that's what our 3-act task helped us do today. Give yourselves a pat on the back. You guys did amazing. Good work.